All right. Social distancing and coaching. How do you do it? How do you not touch your members as you coach them, put them in the right positions? Something that I think we're all accustomed to and comfortable with. I feel like there's a lot of things there that a lot of coaches may not have used before, a lot of different coaching techniques. We just kind of just rely on being able to just move someone's knees in or kind of, someone's chest up, and heavily rely on that. And what I think this does now, kind of needing to socially distance yourself from your athlete or from your member, really improving your ability to coach from a distance.
Yeah.
You guys got some tips?
I'll go over some stuff. So the level 2s we teach, and it's pretty well known that there are 3 styles of cueing. You have verbal, visual, which is like demonstration, and then tactile cueing. And tactile cueing is broken down to 2 stages typically. You either give a target, something for a body part to move towards, or you give it a block, or something for it to move away from or avoid. And it can be done through spotting or pressure or, like poking a certain area or whatever. But I mean, with social distancing, that is frowned upon.
Yeah.
And probably not the best tactic to use when cueing. So you have to kind of rely on the other 2, your verbal and your visual. So you're going to have to, if you are a very hands-on coach like I am, I myself am very hands-on, especially with some of the gymnastics movements. A lot of gymnastics is coached hands-on and requires it to do that well. You're going to have to get creative with the words that you use. You're going to have to be able to explain concepts from many different angles or many different perspectives, not visual perspectives, but like thought perspectives. How you explain something is going to be taken one way by someone who has a certain thought process versus someone else who thinks it's something completely different. So be able to explain the same concept multiple different ways verbally, simply. It always helps if you're able to show things. And when you give visual cues, you kind of want them to be not overly exaggerated, but you don't want them to be perfect and you don't want them to be subtle.
So especially when
it's got to be obvious, the change. Like when you say, hey, you're doing this, I want you to do this, there needs to be an obvious change between the 2 contrasting demonstrations so that someone who doesn't have a trained eye can pick up on it. Like if you are a coach and you show a coach a subtle change, then it'll be obvious to them, but not your average member, especially if you're doing this through a Zoom call, all right? Because it's a smaller picture. They might not have the best angle. So in person is one thing, but obviously through a Zoom call. The other thing is like you can use some of the techniques and tactics that they have for CrossFit Kids. If you haven't done that course, it's a tremendous course when it comes to building your toolbox of cues. They will do tactile cues with a PVC pipe from a 5-foot distance. Like they'll give pressure. Yeah. Yep. So that might be something, you just poke and prod with a.
Do you sharpen the edge first? Or?
Sharpened stick.
Yes. Nice and make sure it's sharp. No, I think taking this stuff from like the kids course, or even just thinking like beginner's mindset, the person you're talking to is never done it before. So you have to make sure that if you're showing, like you're saying, if you're showing it to them, like they see that change, they see the difference. They may not understand your words, if they're minor, it needs to be exaggerated. And I think if the coaches that can figure this out and learn this are just like the gyms coming out of this, they're going to come out on top as the better coaches too. Because then if they learn how to communicate without being able to touch, when it comes back to being able to touch again, they're going to be the best in their area.
They're going to be that much better. Absolutely.
One of the things that really helped me develop as a coach was just sitting back and watching as many people as I could and coaching them through my mind. Like just in practice, right? So I might not be actually coaching them, but in my mind, I'm going through the scenario of what would I be saying to them, how to communicate to them. And all this is without touch. And I think that's another way that you can really practice and sharpen your skills without having as much floor time or without having to have physical contact with people, because you can just keep watching and keep coaching, keep cueing, build up your bank of cues. So that way, when you are in front of your athlete or in front of a video, you have a broader toolbox to pull from. That's always helped me. And I think that gave me just more opportunity to get more reps in as a coach.
Yep. Always be watching is one of the things I was taught early on. Even if you're not in the gym, you're always watching someone's movement, figuring out what you would tell them to fix it.
Yeah, it's a curse. Like, that's why I don't like
I had a former athlete just get her level 1, and I said, "Congratulations, you're never going to be able to unsee the stuff you just learned."
Yeah,
seriously.
It's like you're walking around a mall and you see someone like super pigeon-toed, where they bend over and pick something up with a rounded back, and I just want to yell at them. Like, what are you doing? How dare you? How dare you? No. But yeah, all those are great perspectives and great ideas for developing, especially the one where, like always be evaluating someone's movement. And that'll get you really good at seeing movement. As far as correcting the movement, once you've identified the faulty movement or a good movement, if you want to improve it further or correct something that's going wrong, something to practice would be, it's going to be hard for me to explain this drill over Zoom without actually another person. But let's say I am a coach that wants to get better at my verbal cues and directing human body movement. I'll have my athlete stand, 10 feet away from me, right? And then another person, another coach ideally, about 5 to 10 feet behind that person. And I'm not allowed to do anything but use my words. The coach that's furthest away will do a simple movement like put their arm up or something like that, or make a body position. And I have to get the person that's in front of me that can't see the other person to get into that same exact position, only using my words. And I can't name a movement. So if the coach, I can only name joints and what to do with them.
Right. Move this here, move that there.
Exactly. So if the coach squats, I can't say, "Hey, squat." I have to say, "Hey, slowly bend your knees. Drive them out to the side, push your butt further back." So it's like I can say anything but the movement that they have to do.
This sounds like a cool happy hour idea.
It's really cool. I don't know how you would do it over a Zoom call, obviously. I mean, I guess if Barry was standing behind James, actually, if James couldn't see Barry right now, but I could see Barry, it would work perfectly.
Yes.
So, but it's a really good drill to get people to understand how to direct certain body parts and command movement. Yeah.
I like that. I think that's an awesome way and something I hadn't thought of, to be able to really purposefully, intentionally practice this skill.
Yes.
So a couple of big takeaways. Always be coaching, just always
ABC.
Keep that out there. I mean,
always be coaching, always be closing.
In life and everything, ABCs.
ABC.
Keep practicing. Go buy a PVC pipe. Nice one.
Sharpen it.
Go splurge on a nice PVC pipe. And then make sure you always wipe down the stick. Never use to poke people with. Our sanitation habits now are just at a new level. Well, awesome. That was super insightful. I want to add more information in the description so people just kind of browsing through this can see kind of what exactly we talked about. I think there's some really good topics that we hit. Awesome, guys. Well, Zach, thanks for the input. Barry, thanks for the input. We will catch you guys mañana. Thanks, guys.
Word. All right. See you.